Welcome, everybody. I'm Beth Shero. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Shero Commerce. Welcome to our Shero Live. Thank you for joining. We are Shero Commerce, your e-commerce experts and specializing in B2B and B2C. And I'm excited. We have a lot going on here today. It is the end of summer. I know it's sad to say goodbye, a little of the summer blues, but excited for fall. I know some people that really get excited about fall. So loving all the seasons. And all the kids are back in school, or I hope for most people at least. I know someone back today, but my daughter went back yesterday. So good times. Let's see. We have traveled a lot this summer. We were in Boston. We were in New York City. We were in Ohio. And we have some upcoming events next week. Elevar event in New York City. So this is with Meta, and it's around Meta awareness campaign. So Gentian will be there hosting a roundtable. So if you're signed up, we're excited to see you join there. If you haven't signed up already and you're in New York City, please feel free to reach out so you can attend our event. It'll be a good event. And also in October, we have Retail Summit and Shop Talk coming up. So lots to look forward to. And we continuously go to these events to learn, connect with people in the industry, and meet customers like yourself. So we are learning as we go and helping educate people. So exciting topic here we're going to be talking about today. I was at Big Summit last week in Austin, and we are joined here by Nate Turner from BigCommerce. So I'm excited to have him join to talk about a little bit about what his thoughts on the event were and where BigCommerce is headed. So let's welcome Nate to the show here today and let him introduce himself. Hey, Nate, how's it going?
Hey, Beth, it's going well. Thanks for having me today. Appreciate it. My name's Nate Turner. I've been at BigCommerce now for almost 12 years, the director of our mid-market sales team. So you name it, I've seen it, I've worked with it. I've been involved in the e-commerce industry now for about a third of my life. So I'm really excited for both where we're headed as a company, the event that just transpired, and I'm really excited to dig into some of those takeaways with you guys today.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining us. I know it was last minute, and with the short week, it's everyone's so busy right now. We were talking a little bit. I actually officially met you at the event, which was cool to hear your story and hear some things that are going on with you. And just for the audience, you've been at BigCommerce for a long time, so you've seen it, the journey that BigCommerce has gone through. So I think your input is even more valuable to some degree because you've seen so much happen and evolve, and you sound pretty excited about what's happening, and we're going to dig into that today, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And our more humble beginnings, BigCommerce was really, catering towards small business, even micro businesses. But over the last decade, I think you've seen a pretty strong sort of paradigm shift away from more legacy, heavy, self-hosted, open source software to SaaS, and SaaS really took the world by storm over the last 10 years. So BigCommerce was fortunate to kind of have the infrastructure prepared to cater to that market. And, here we are 12 years later, really catering both the mid-market and enterprise space, really solving a lot of some of the world's most complex e-commerce use cases, just based on how we went to market with our platform. And we're not stopping anytime soon. So yeah, it's been a journey. And I'm just really, really eager to kind of dig into what the next 10 years might have in store for the platform.
That's awesome. And that's great to hear that you see yourself in that journey and you're excited to support that. We've been BigCommerce partners for many, many years as well. So we were at those early stages alongside you. It has evolved quite rapidly. And there are some new leadership hires that happened in May that I was actually able to actually meet them at the event, and it really built the next level of confidence from my perspective of where you're going. There's always like talk and you hear things and read things, but until you like sit and talk with people, it's hard to understand what's going on. So I felt that was really useful. So if we can just bring up the slides, you had two major hires, right? You had Travis. Oh, it's a little lagged, maybe. Weird. 1 second. Can you go next slide? Thank you. So we had Travis Hess and Tom Armstrong, um, heavy hitters from their experience. I love that Travis has agency experience. And then Tom was heavy in the Salesforce area. So they bring a lot of great knowledge to BigCommerce. How does it feel for you as a team member at BigCommerce? Do you feel that they're helping drive the vision forward?
Absolutely. When I first started here, we were founder led. So our two founders, Eddie and Mitch, like they were basically co-CEO of the company, and they took us up until about 2015 timeframe, and that's when they brought in Brent Bellm, who's still our CEO today, who really led the charge since then. And I think Brent is a product visionary. Like he really understands like where the market is going and what we need to be doing from a platform product perspective to stay in front of the curve. And then what I'm most excited about is Travis coming in to really lead the go-to-market motion from here on out.
Mm-hmm.
His perspective that got me kind of the shot in my arm is, he's worked with multiple solutions over his career. Some of those more, heavy legacy softwares that I mentioned before, and then even shifting into the SaaS direction. And he's kind of betting his career on BigCommerce. Like he's picking the BigCommerce horse. Yeah.
Yeah.
Which like if I'm gonna, hitch my wagon to somebody that has been there and done that and has grown an agency who's largely platform agnostic and can kind of go in a lot of different ways to kind of jump off that ship and join the platform race. That's kind of speaks for itself for an agency where merchants and brands are depending on you to really recommend the platform that's going to take them into the next 10 years of their operations. For someone that believes in BigCommerce so much to just completely shift gears in their career and join that mission,
Yeah.
let's go. Like, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this at like the nth degree now that Travis is kind of driving that go-to-market forward. Tom as well. He was at Demandware, which became the Salesforce Commerce Cloud product, and that was kind of the early days of SaaS and the e-commerce platform. And just having those kind of heavy hitters that have seen some of the biggest, some of the world's biggest e-commerce implementations go into effect and saying, nope, I'm going to put my bet on the BigCommerce horse. And we can't ask for more. We have a really solid team to take us into the next generation of BigCommerce.
Yeah, absolutely. And I added a little, my main takeaway here from what Travis said and Brent said on stage, new era, right? Be agile, be fast, be authentic, be yourselves, be BigCommerce. Like, don't pretend to be somebody else. How does that resonate with you? Do you see that change happening? Like, it's sometimes hard to make these cultural changes. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think the opportunity that we have in front of us is kind of sometimes we're a little too humble, right? Like the reason, we're modest, right? And that's we want to be respectable. We want to maintain that level of that brand perception. However, there is something to be said about having the best product and owning that and walking that walk and kind of screaming it from the rooftops. Right. So a lot of the reasons why I heard, Travis and Tom talk about why they joined BigCommerce is just that the platform is positioned to really win the e-commerce space in the mid-market and enterprise, especially on the B2B side of things for years to come. We need to tell more people about what we're doing. We need to get the word out. So I think we're starting to see that sort of shift to really being loud and proud about the work that we're doing here, so that we're in more rooms, we're having more conversations. From a sales perspective, my perspective at BigCommerce, we have an incredible win rate. Like anytime we get in a room with someone that's evaluating platforms, they're blown away. So we just need to take that awareness up a notch and make sure that like the world is totally aware of what BigCommerce is doing, and really leaning into that kind of street reputation that folks like Travis and team have take with them to BigCommerce to really lean into that and expand just the awareness of what's going on here.
100%. He also talked about branding and stuff. So we'll see a lot of change and things happening, which is positive. And just to kind of dive in here and actually talk tech, there were a lot of updates. So I kind of just named the top seven. The ones that I found most interesting, I mean, we already kind of knew about Catalyst and MakeSwift as a partner. But it was good to hear about some of the other things like Gadget, B2B, focusing on making sure, sales reps are enabled and empowered to use the solutions. And then obviously Feedonomics always has great tech and constantly trying to make sure that their customers are able to sell in different marketplaces. I know you have others that you thought of too. What was your takeaway by the tech updates?
Yeah, I think the whole headless mock composable thing is
Yeah,
some of those like sexy buzzwords that you're hearing a lot in the marketplace, and whether brands fully understand what that means or not is another conversation. But uh, what
100%.
what what we need, yeah, like the kind of the unfortunate part is there's a lot of tech debt that comes along with going headless, and
Yep.
uh, brands love what it offers. It's really content first opportunity to drive your e-commerce kind of motion forward, but executing it could require a heavier reliance on development resources, self-hosted resources, like things that you just didn't really anticipate when you leaned into that direction. So Catalyst and MakeSwift, that those are just really making this concept of headless like more accessible to the masses.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone that's unaware of what that is it's essentially a fully headless solution out of the box. It's spun up in a matter of minutes, connected back into the BigCommerce e-commerce engine. It's Next.js. We have partnership with Vercel, but any CM, you can use any hosting provider that you'd like. With this tool called MakeSwift, which is a company that we just acquired that sits on top of that headless storefront. And it's that low, no code drag and drop visual editor that
Yeah.
gives business users like me, like I'm not a developer. I wouldn't pretend to be, right. I wouldn't know the first thing about HTML, CSS, what all that I leave that to the professionals. But I would like to be able to just kind of have control over my UI UX brand experience on my website without having to dig in and have a kind of degree in computer engineering to figure out what I'm doing on that front. And that's what MakeSwift is giving the business user controls at a level that we've never really seen before, to really go in and manage what their website looks like and what their customers experience without knowing a lick of code. And super exciting because perfect Google Lighthouse scores, extremely fast and responsive websites. These things are just at your fingertips, and now you don't have to really lean in too heavily on the dev side to really manage the look and feel. There'll always be those components that does require some degree of customization, which BigCommerce has always been API first. So like you're always going to have access to those developer tools to kind of build and manage your own workflows and whatnot. But the main thing is making headless accessible, fast, easy, and implemented at a rate that we've never really seen before in this space. So that's getting a lot of chatter, a lot of conversations, a lot of demos that we're doing on our end to really showcase what that looks like. And I do think that's going to be the next generation for like the really the direct to consumer, B2C side of things that is very brand and visual driven.
Yeah, I mean, it really empowers the marketing team. Like you said, like you don't have to code anything. And we're in an era where people don't want to have to spend money on like, oh, I have to get a developer to create this landing page for me. That's annoying.
Absolutely.
So Make Swift solves that problem for sure, which it was a pain point for sure on BigCommerce for quite some time, like just trying to make it easy for customers to update their content. So this is brilliant and it looked really sexy. So it was cool. Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping it kind of makes that splash and gets more attention than our native page builder has in the past, which is still going to be a thing. We're still iterating and developing on our native storefront, which we
Of
call
course.
Stencil.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, that's not going anywhere. But Catalyst will be that second option to spin up headless and go with the Make Swift option to really own that. And that ties back in, of course, to like the B2B side of things as well, which we're seeing a pretty big shift. And what brands are looking for, especially like manufacturers and distributors, are trying to recreate that direct to consumer sort of ease of use
Yes.
to buy and shop on their websites without having like the kind of old school email, fax, phone call, over reliance on offline to run your business to business sort of business operations. So it all ties back into what we're doing on the B2B edition with our open source buyer portal, which is
Yeah.
really giving, B2B businesses, like, you can come in and just basically build your own, what your buyers see when they're buying from you, anything from quoting, invoicing, product and price differentiation, uh, checkout optimization or checkout customization. That's all unique to who your different customer groups are. And that's just scraping the surface. That's where we're really leaning in heavily on the B2B side, and really investing that, like, that's going to be a pretty big component of where e-commerce is headed for the next 5 to 10 years as well.
Oh yeah, I couldn't agree more. Like, I don't know if you've probably heard this where customers are like, I want my site to be like Amazon.
Oh yes.
Uh,
Oh yes.
so like there's just this like culture of ease that we desire, and that has influenced B2B, especially if you maybe are early adopter of doing online transactions for your B2B site, or your digital maturity is really low, or you've been at it for years. You definitely want to make it as easy as possible. And with younger generations coming into the mix, they don't want it to be complicated. So it's a no brainer for sure.
That's right. It's a funny story. We do get a lot of the younger generation is taking over the family business.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. We're seeing a lot of that. And it's the son or the daughter that's reaching out to us with, mom and dad are still in the driver's seat, and, they're just not fully, understanding or like really embracing the option to change and to kind of cater towards where the younger generation of buyers are going.
Mhm.
And it's this whole idea of, meet your buyers with where they're at. There
100%.
was an awesome session for your buyers are hiding in plain sight, which is I know one of the sessions that you were able to attend and kind of consume some of that content that was driven by the big summit. But ultimately, it's there's so many channels, there's so many different opportunities to
So
engage
hard.
with a shopper.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not just a website, and that's when I try to explain to people like what I do for a living. People are like, oh, so you like build websites? Well, no, it's more than that, right? Like, we're trying to really create an end-to-end e-commerce business strategy, which extends beyond simply having a .com, but getting into the socials, the marketplaces, and all the different places where people might be interested in procuring any products. And that's arguably the most strategic thing BigCommerce has done in my time here was the acquisition of Feedonomics, which I'm sure
Yeah.
you're very
Brilliant.
familiar with. Yeah, and
Economics.
Feedo's doing things at a high level too. Like, they're looking to make things like same day delivery and buy online, pick up in store more accessible, and integrating with folks like DoorDash or Instacart, making sure that if you're ready to go, you don't have to wait 2 days. Like, 2 days is slow at this point. So
Old
we're
news.
we're
Old news.
speeding up. Yeah, we gotta keep up, right? So the Feedonomics acquisition and some of the tie-ins we're doing on that front too is really gonna take the vision beyond the website and really get into wherever your buyers are at, and making it more accessible to get products faster and more efficiently than ever before as well. So really, really kind of arming our customers and the brands that are trusting BigCommerce to stay on the cutting edge with all those tools necessary to remain competitive and really, go to market them for themselves, in a way that I have personally haven't seen BigCommerce really be able to serve until now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think Rick Watson, he said consumers need to see your product at least 6 or 7 times to purchase, and you have to be on all those channels. And as you see from the stats here, 87% of consumers are purchasing products online in a typical week. Like, our world is just transformed. Like, there's no going back, you know?
Yeah, terrifying for my bank account, but it's great for the industry that I work in. So I'm happy about that.
Too easy. Yeah,
Too easy.
absolutely. um, Awesome. So, a couple of more takeaways here. Future Commerce actually did a cool report on the future of consumer behavior. These were just some facts that I pulled from that report, and maybe we can share it. They just talk about how people, like different generations, shop, and that there's this new scroll set generation with different expectations, and the things that you're doing at BigCommerce really show like how important it is for those consumers. We're just exhausted, bombarded. If you waste our time, we move on. We don't want to buy from you, is like the long and short of it, right? So it was just really interesting to hear them speak. And there were so many great talks. I mean, it's hard to summarize everything in 20 minutes.
It was, and what I thought was cool about Big Summit was we sort of transformed it to be more customer and brand focused. In the
Yeah.
past, we used to have partner summits and bring in agency and technology partners to come in and catch up and really discuss where the puck was headed, so to speak. So now though it was the majority of the people that came to this event were actual users or folks considering using BigCommerce, and just really hearing their use cases and understanding the implication or the impact that unlocking like additional storefronts in multiple different geographies or territories could have on their top line revenue, or just how much more efficient like we could drive, like we can increase profit margin by making their B2B ordering process 10x more efficient. Like the true business impacts were super exciting.
Yeah.
And because like we talk about features a lot, we're caught up in the kind of technical weeds, but when you really extrapolate that out to like, well, what are the business impacts that incorporating like a really killer tech stack has? I mean, it's tangible dollars, it's growth, it's expansion, and we like to share in that growth with our customers and really like ride that wave into the next generation. And folks like PayPal that are doing things like the accelerated checkout with
Yeah, it's
Fastlane.
brilliant. Brilliant.
It's insane. Like, and it's like 400 million people that are just, they're locked and unloaded, ready to have a single click checkout. You can just flip a switch, and that is now something you can offer to your customers. Is insane. So yeah, I think the energy was palpable. The buzz that I personally saw in our networks on LinkedIn and such was at a level that was unmatched. So yeah, we're really excited here at BigCommerce. We're really leaning in. We're definitely making a stand, and we want to make a splash over the next 5 years or so with where Travis and team can take us. And that's really my major kind of aha takeaway moments from the last week of my life. So very, very exciting stuff.
It's awesome. Yeah, it was. There definitely was a very positive vibe. I was surprised actually because I come from like Magento days, and going back to the big summit, there were so many old faces, friends that I hadn't seen in years from Magento Adobe Commerce days that now are like fully embracing BigCommerce and see the future of it. So it's just great to see that community as well, like thriving, because when you see them all in a room, it's a very different feeling than like hearing about it or not sure what's going on. So that was also interesting to me to see how well the community is doing, because it is
Absolutely.
challenging times for different companies, and it's great to see that positive energy for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And like macroeconomically, it's obviously kind of a tougher time.
Yeah.
So bigger replatforms and bigger bets or risks that brands are taking are a little fewer and farther between. But for folks that are already invested in a particular platform that have the ability now to expand the base, like adding multiple new storefronts or getting into different territories or incorporating a digital B2B.
Yeah.
Like that's not a re-platform. That's simply just, sprinkling some additional, ingredients on top of what you already have. And doing so in an extremely cost-effective and time-effective way. Like you don't have to wait a year to deploy a site in France if you don't want to, right? Like you could have that up and running this afternoon if you're, so inclined, right? So, we're trying to cater to both.
For
Very
the
empowering.
customer to be agile and fast, just like BigCommerce, and get shit done, basically, right?
That's right. The old adage, fast, good, and cheap. Why not all three? Let's just do all
Well,
three.
it's hard
We
to
don't
get
have to
that
pick two.
triangle, right?
Yeah, let's just do it all.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate your insights. Here are a couple of photos from the great experience that I had at Big Summit. Do you have any final thoughts or anything finally you want to leave our viewers?
Just that we really appreciate the participation. The folks that traveled from all over the world, frankly, to be in Austin, Texas, here with us was extremely generous of their time. We're very, again, humble, but we want to partner with the folks in the tech agency world, the design and solution partners that we work with. Really, that rising tide lifts all boats. So, BigCommerce is doubling down on what we can do for the market. For brands that are looking to kind of take the next step, we are here ready to work with you. So, we're eager to hear kind of what position or challenges you got. And I'm, again, more optimistic now than ever that we can help you out. So, Beth, I really appreciate you bringing me on. Super excited to work with Shero on some upcoming projects as well, and we'll go from there.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Nate. I know you are a super busy guy, so really appreciate it. And it's a good chat. We covered some content here.
Anytime.
I hope everybody walked away with a little nugget of something. And we also have some additional notes that we can share with the crowd with some of the talks that I thought were really interesting and insightful and helps us see where the future of consumers are going and how they purchase online. So great event, great to recap it. Just to wrap up here today, again, friendly reminder, we have the Elevar event next week in New York City. So hopefully I can see some people there. So thank you for joining. And I'm Beth Shero. Always be learning.